All right, everybody, we're finally there. Chapter 35 out of 35, Familia Romana. We still got one stream left. I got to make it 30 days, like I said in the thumbnail. But this is going to be the final chapter in the book, at least in the first pass through. We have a little dialogue between master and student. Can't see anything on this potato quality camera. That's fine. Dialogue between teacher and student on the art of grammar, ars grammatica. So we are going to be going through that like I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, doing my simultaneous reading and listening, and then I'm just going to be reading through the chapter. Let's see, what do we got? I don't know, 296 to like 8 pages, but there's a lot of white space because it's kind of dialogue format, not full blocks of prose like most of the other chapters have been. I'm going to be tuning in tomorrow as well, going live. Still got to figure out what I'm going to do for the final stream. Probably do some sort of review of previous chapters. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of free reading or reflection on the process. Still got to see. I'm flying by the seat of my pants this whole time, if that wasn't obvious. But let's get into it. I got my audio loaded up here. I'll go through that and then read on camera and sign off for the night. I'm gonna mute myself here and so you don't have to listen to the crickets outside and get to it. All right, so that's simultaneous reading and listening. Um, just a student asking about how many parts of speech are there. Um, there are 8. What are they? Give them all. Um, there are nouns, there are pronouns, there are verbs, there are adverbs, participles, conjunctions, prepositions, interjections. Uh, what is a noun? How many cases are there? There are comparatives. What are pronouns, etc., and so forth. Um, Actually, really good explication of Latin grammar in a few pages, just kind of from a high level. This is going to be actually, I think, worth going back to. I'm going to do just read through of the main body of the chapter, not the back grammar part, but the actual dialogue between the teacher and student, and then I'm going to hit the hay. So it'll take me a few minutes. All right. This is something here. So the chapter starts. It gives the title Ars Grammatica, and ex donati, and I quote Arte Grammatica Minore. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is out of, and then Donati I hadn't seen, so this is of Donatus. Um, and the quote unquote, I mean, that has like the italics. It looks like a title. So I grabbed my phone to do a quick lookup of this. So this refers to a text or excerpt taken from the Ars Minor, or a lesser art of Aelius Donatus, a Roman grammarian of the 4th century. The guy wrote 2 famous works on Latin grammar: the minor and the major art, minor art, and the lesser and greater art. Uh, they were among the most widely used grammar textbooks throughout the Middle Ages and Renaissance. Often the first, the lesser art was often the first Latin text a student memorized. The term donat even became a synonym for any grammar book. That I did not know. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Orberg has a great way of working in these Latin texts in a way that feels natural, because it has this conceit of a dialogue or a story wrapped around it. You might not even realize that's what he's doing. That'll be a text that could be interesting to check out. If you'd like to see that, leave me a comment. You know, my Latin's definitely not good enough to read Latin grammar in Latin yet, but who knows? Maybe in a few months I'll be there. Maybe in a year I'll be there. Uh, that is very interesting. I'd like to look into that some more, and I wonder if the information is taken from that book, or if the actual dialogue itself is taken from that book. If it's the latter, that'd be insane. That's I think, a great way to teach what can be a very dense, difficult, and dry topic, that being grammar. especially in an inflected language like Latin. I mean, it can be very confusing in your native tongue, let alone if it's written in the language you're supposed to be learning in the first place. Anyway, gonna go back to reading. I just think that's fascinating. I'm glad I took the time to look that up because I would have totally missed that if I hadn't stoked my curiosity a little bit. All right. I'm trying to get my reading done. Believe me, I want to go to bed, but it's what is this? So it looks like the student is asking how many kinds of nouns there are. He says quator, four. So we have masculine, feminine, neuter, and comune. Comune. I don't know comune. I don't know what this word means. Um, uh, ut hic et haec sacerdos. So I don't know what this fourth kind of noun is. I'm already learning stuff from this short excerpt of the of this grammar book. It's definitely worth checking out. And then this word, which I admit I don't know, comes up later. Comune. I'm looking for it. I lost my place here. Uh, it's like what? How many? What are the kinds of pronouns? Eadem ferre quae et nominum masculinum ut quis femininum ut quae neutrum ut quod commune ut qualis talis trium generum ut ego tu. So commune. This is where I gotta get my vocabulary up. Got to do another pass through the book. Little side note: it'll be so now we're like, how many numbers of pronouns are there? There's singular and there's plural. He. Um, so the two numbers, three persons. He, and then ego tu ile. It'll be interesting because I do want to learn. I would love. I don't want to set my sights too high here. I haven't even managed to learn Latin yet, but I would like to learn Greek and Hebrew at some point. And I understand that they have a dual number. So we have, and most of the languages that we're familiar with have the singular and the plural. Um, but I think Greek and Hebrew have a dual, so they have like one is spoken of, two are spoken of, and then many are spoken of, like more than that. And I am curious as to how that affects the way that you conceptualize categories when you have different numbers, different more varieties of grammatical number rather than just like one and many. Anyway, just an interesting thought. I'm going to expose my own ignorance here. I didn't know there were kinds of conjunctions. I thought they were just. So this looks like ca- causal, disjunctive. There's a few others. Five. I I did not know that. I think that would shed some light on stuff. Sometimes with the conjunctions, I'm like, what exactly is the difference between um I don't know, maybe this is a bad example. Et and atque, or like what's the difference between well and out, like functionally? When would I use one versus the other? What's so? I think maybe that knowing that those are the different kinds would shed some light on that, like those kinds of questions. Okay, I should have read on. They even go on to say like, um, okay, et, que, atque, ac. Those are words that I have a hard time knowing. Like, why did they say? Why did they use one of those? Why did they use ac instead of et or instead of atque? And then after that, they say um, out, well, we, neckwe. So there we go. I guess that's covered. covering the interjections, I think it's fascinating that there are these different ways of communicating human universals. We use different sounds, even though we all feel pain, we all feel happiness, we all feel um, surprise across times and cultures, places, etc. We have the different exclamations that signify these feelings, and so happiness, UX. Yeah, I can't pronounce this. EUAX. Um, Pain. Hew. Hew. Like we just say ow. I don't know. That's it. It's really interesting to me. I remember that's the end of the chapter, and they have a grammatical section for the grammatical chapter. There's this girl in this exchange student that I knew in high school, and I have no idea how we got onto this topic, but she mentioned the sound that a dog makes. She was from the Czech Republic. It was either Czech Republic or Slovakia. I thought it was Czechoslovakia. I didn't know that it split. Anyway, um, I'm sorry if I offended anybody from the region. It's my own ignorance, not intentional. Um, and it wasn't like I would say like woof. That's the sound a dog makes, or like bark or oh, something like this. And she said a completely different word for what a dog makes. And I was like, whoa, hold on, wait a second. What did you say a cow says? I say moo. She said something else. I sincerely doubt that dogs and cows sound any different in Eastern Europe than here. And yet we have different words that stand for these things. I kind of feel like it's the same thing here. Like I don't think the Romans, uh, maybe felt pain in a different way than we do, or surprise or happiness. Maybe that's wrong, but they have a different way of expressing these things. I think that's one of the beautiful things about language. These different perspectives on the universal human condition. And all right. And anyway, so that we have the Grammatica section. We got some Pensa, and we have the references index. And that is the whole book. I have not done the all the Pensa. I did like some from the first few chapters. I've been doing them. You guys have seen me. I have not read all the grammatical. I have for a bunch of them, but I've not done the grammatical readings for you know, every chapter. Hopefully, it still counts that I read the book. I'm fairly exhausted, both because it's late and it's been a long month getting this done. I'm going to tune in tomorrow and maybe do some review to make it 30 days, but that is I just gave a whole heartfelt speech, and I realized that the mute has been on this whole time. Oh boy. Okay, well, I can't repeat that. That was all from the heart, and never going to recapture it. If you watched, I just completed my first book in a foreign language, my first book in Latin. There's a lot that I didn't understand, but there's some that I did, and I wouldn't have been able to say that a relatively short time ago. So anyone who even gave this a few seconds of watch time, anyone who will stumble upon this in the years to come, thank you. And I hope that whatever stuff I put up on this channel in the future is helpful to you and cuts time out of your learning curve, time that I wasted, time where I was confused, where I didn't have enough belief in myself to think that I could approach something like this, or couldn't justify to myself why I should approach something like this, let alone had an idea how. I hope I can, as time goes on and I get those answers for myself, I hope that I can help you out. If there's anything you want to see, drop a comment, let me know. You'll have a good night. I love you.